Hey guys, it's Mary and welcome back to Study Journey. Welcome to the game series. So this is a series a little bit different than the others because instead of using Python, we will be switching to JavaScript. And we will be also using the P5 library, so it's going to be a simplified version of JavaScript. And we're going to be learning a lot of game building concepts. Within the game series, we're going to do a small thing called creating an avatar. So this is the first episode we're going to do to actually start building an avatar with JavaScript and learning some basic concepts. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about creating an avatar. And this is going to be broken up into several parts because it's going to be pretty long doing this. Okay, so let's get started. So first, we're going to be using Replit for this. Replit is an American startup in an online integrated development environment, which is an IDE. And this basically allows users to create online programming projects. So the first thing we need to do is first create an account for Replit. So I already have mine pulled up right here. And as we can see, there are several parts to this learning environment. So here is where we write our JavaScript code. And then this is where it prints out the results. So we're going to click run, and then the results are going to show up here. And then there's a bunch of other stuff right here, like tools that we can use. Here's the name of our program, and just make sure you create an account before you get started. So now that we have Replit, let's talk about p5.js. So this is a JavaScript library for creative coding, and this is a collection of pre-written code. So it provides us with tools that simplify the process of creating interactive visuals with code in the web browser. So if we go to this website right here, it's in Code Academy. It tells us a lot about the p5.js library. But as we can see, there are a lot of things that sets this up for us if we use the p5.js library. And there are also a lot of functions that help us set it up. And we can learn about it more on there. So before we begin, let's talk about the coordinate plane. So the regular coordinate plane, as we can see, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as we go to the right. And then as we go up, the number gets larger. But for P5 coordinate plane, 0, 0, or the origin actually starts right here. So basically, going right, it still gains numbers. But then if you go down, that's how it gets bigger. Why this is important is if we look over here, this is basically a coordinate plane. So this is 0, 0 right here, and if we go right and then we go down. So if we wanted to put an object in the middle, that would be going through the middle right here and then the middle right here. So it would count this way and then this way. Now that we know how the P5 coordinate plane works, we can start creating an avatar. So the first thing we will do is create a face. And it says that we should write comments to separate the face, eyes, mouth, pupils, etc. So basically, this is the basis of what we are going to be creating. I'm going to open up this reference right here. And as we can see, if we click on one, it tells us how to draw an ellipse. So the parameters, or what an ellipse takes in, what do each of these numbers mean? Well, as we can see, x, y has the location of its center. So x is how much it goes to the right, and then y is how much it goes down. And then width and height is the last two. So let's start. Okay, so before we begin, make sure we have all of this right here. So first, we're going to have the function set up, and then we're going to create the canvas, and it's going to be 400 by 400, and then this is the background color. So for the first function, let's first make the face first, okay? So how the face is going to look, well, it is going to be an ellipse. So let's make an ellipse. And the parameters it takes in, remember, it is first how much it goes over, and then how much it goes down. And so if we want this face to be centered, we're going to make it half of the width of this canvas and then half of the height. So half of 400 is 200, half of 400 is 200, and let's make the width like 175. And then the height, let's say 200. So let's run this. And as we can see, we have a face. So now that we have a face, we can draw the color. So what color do we want the face to be? And that is going to be calling the function fill. So like this right here, background, is going to have different numbers. So what do these numbers mean? Well, this is the RGB colors, or the red, green, and blue. So how much red it contains, how much green it contains, how much blue it contains. You can search it up online to have exact numbers, but let's make this face color approximately like this color, basically. So I'm going to do 250, 242, and then 230. And then if we run it, we see that this is what the face looks like. And you can mess with the background color if you want to change it. So for example, if we did like 200, it's going to completely change the color to like this teal color. If we make it 250, it's going to go back to a yellowish color. So let's make it 230 and let's see what color this is. Okay, I'm going to leave it this color, but you can play with the color however you want. But now that we have our face, we want to keep drawing for like the eyes and then the mouth. These eyes right here are also oval, so I'm going to call them ellipses. And we're going to make the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the parameters for this so you don't have to figure it out yourself. But for this ellipse for the eyes, it's going to be like basically 170, 170 to make it like over here. And then let's say 50 wide and 40 tall. If we run it, it's going to be an eye like this. And then let's make another ellipse for the other eye. We're going to be 230 and then 170 down, so it can be even with the other eye, and then also the same size. And then if we run it, there's two eyes. So now that we have the eyeballs, let's make pupils for it. So it's going to be another ellipse, and we know it's going to be 170 and 170, so it can be inside the eye. But how wide and how tall do we want it? Well, it has to be much smaller, so let's do like 22, 25. And then if we run it, there is a pupil. And then let's make another ellipse for the other eye. So it's going to be 230, 170, and then still 22, 25. Okay. Make sure to add semicolons to the end of your code because this is just basic JavaScript language. And then now that we have this, let's make a mouth. So for a mouth, we want it to be a curve like this. And instead of that being an ellipse, let's see what other shapes we can have it to be. Well, it can be an arc. So that's a good idea. An arc is going to be something like this. So if we make it straight like this, it's going to be looking like a smile. So the arc has several parameters that it's going to take in. X and Y are still the locations, and then width and height are the arc's width and height. But then the fifth and sixth parameters are the start and stop. So they're always drawn clockwise from the start to the stop, and then the angles are always given in radians. And then the seventh parameter is optional, and it determines the fill style. So if you want it to be a semicircle, closed circle, or a closed pie segment. Okay, so for our mouth, we're going to have an arc. It's going to be approximately 200, 230, how it's centered, and the width and height 50, 50, and then I'm going to say 0 going all the way to 180. And this should be like a curve. So let's see if we run it. It's a little wonky right now because we don't know what the 180 is. So we have to set up the angle mode and make sure that the angle mode is in degrees. So it understands that this right here is going to be 180 degrees. And then now we have it straight. Okay, so now that we have this, we have a basic structure of the face. Even though right now it's not colored, it's not filled in, we don't have any animations or text to it, but this is what a basic structure looks like, and we just use a bunch of ellipses and arcs in different shapes to make it like this. So in the next episode, we're going to be continuing our face and making it more colorful and also learning about variables.